authenticity. I think I'm an authentic person. Like I'm pretty honest. And I think people guard themselves too much and follow so many rules that aren't even real rules. And I just like kind of challenging the rules. Maybe that's why I'm pre-law. Yeah.
This is People and Their Poems, a podcast about the poems that make a difference in our world. People and Their Poems is presented by Ornog Mountain Publishing. Thanks for joining us today.
Welcome to People and Their Poems podcast. I am your host, Sandy Carlson, and I'm here today with Jane O'Connell, who is a senior at Glastonbury High School, but not for much longer. She'll be graduating on June 11th. And she has been writing poetry for a while. She is an award-winning poet, recently recognized by the Connecticut Poetry Society for her poem, A Poet's Prayer. And it's a real honor to spend some time with you this evening, so close to graduation, Jane. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
It's great. And I just want to add that, just kind of getting to read the poems of the high school participants in the Connecticut Poetry Society's contest, the energy and the enthusiasm for life, it is just a joy. So I really, really, really appreciate that you're taking the time right now, and high school students in poetry, who puts those two things together in the same club? But here we are. Could you talk about yourself as a poet, as a young person who's written? Like, when did you get your start with writing, and what inspires you and what keeps you going?
Well, I didn't start writing poetry. I started with short stories when I've always been like, language has always been like my thing. Like when I was like, ever since I was like little, like very, very young, like I was like reading early on and writing and like illustrating early on, just like telling stories. I used to make comic books when I was like 7 or 8 years old. And then in 5th grade, I wrote a short story about this like boy. It's his first day of 6th grade, and he wants to get detention on the first day. Anyway, it was called like Looking for Trouble, and that won an award from the Yukon Connecticut Writing Project. And then ever since that, I was just so excited, and I've been writing ever since. And I started focusing more on poetry when I took my poetry class first semester this year with my English teacher. Shout out to Mr. Sanderson. He's been like a mentor. He kind of made me realize that I was talented at writing. I just kind of did it for fun. I didn't realize it was something that I could like share with the world and stuff. So yeah.
Oh, Jane, your Mr. Sanderson, is he your English teacher? Are you taking an English elective? How did poetry come into the English class or that environment?
Well, I had him freshman year, then I had him junior year for a like dual enrollment English class with UConn, and then poetry is just an elective, and I wanted to take it because I do love poetry, even though it's not what I didn't think I was best at. And he's just very like enthusiastic. He always, tells everyone in the class that there's no wrong way to write poetry. And it was like a very open environment, so I was excited to like experiment and stuff. And that's what I wrote, A Poet's Prayer, in that class.
Well, cool. Is it a year-long class or a semester?
Semester. Wish it was a year long though.
I know. I just being nosy about it as another English teacher. So could you just describe that environment a little bit? I'm fascinated. It wasn't your first love. Was it the Mr. Sanderson, the fact that he was teaching the poetry class? Was that part of the draw, or was it just another thing to try out as a writer?
No, he like, I mean, he's the type of teacher that starts crying when a student reads their poem because he's just so touched by it. I mean, he's so excited about writing and reading, and he gets everyone excited too, because I know most kids in that class went in there thinking like, whatever, it's going to be easy and I can just like cruise by. But I think he really got everybody into it, and we were all really excited. And I really respect him, and I love like working with him. So of course, like I was going to try my best and be as engaged as I could. But you don't even have to like you can't even fake the excitement because it's just that type of classroom. I don't know. Like he's just he's the best teacher I've ever had. So I owe a lot to him because he like, kind of started me on this journey of like submitting to contests and stuff. And so yeah, I would not be here without him.
Well, that's great. And you said that the Yukon Writers Project, they recognized your comic book, right? Looking for Trouble. And it's just very great that your teacher's also looking for you guys to have a broader audience than your class, which is a great start, but it's finite. And to get feedback or have an experience of a broader audience really is a validating experience for sure. Um, I got to be a little bit nosier. Is it a big class? Does he get a lot of kids in those electives, or?
I think no, I would say it's probably like 17 or 18 kids. And he
Mhm.
probably has, you know, we have one class first semester, one class second semester. And oh my God, I get like kind of pissed off because I will hear kids say that they're using AI to write their poems. And I'm like, oh, I get it that you just want to get a good grade, but like I mean it's better when it's coming from you because I just oh my God, wait, I have to save what I want to say about poetry for the question about what I would tell other people or something about it,
Okay,
but I'll
got
just
it.
yeah.
Okay,
It's
gotcha.
an intimate environment, yeah.
For sure. And yet that's a decent number of kids in a poetry class. And do you guys each share what you write? Is it like a workshop style?
Yeah, oh yeah, we all have to share. A lot of kids had to warm up to it, but by the end, yeah, we were all like we would clap and comment on everybody's poems, so it was nice, fun.
Very cool in all four grade levels.
Poetry for all grade levels?
If it is like, do you have all four grade levels in your class, or is it
No, it's
primarily?
only seniors.
Oh, okay, because that could be a very different dynamic if you've got the little
Oh
ones in
yeah,
there
God.
too.
I don't want to find out what like freshmen would be. Yeah.
Well, that is really cool. And yeah, well, hold off on those AI thoughts. I'm having a couple myself. It's like, oh, but I just that you have a teacher who invites you guys to be your true selves and to express that, and to have an environment where that is welcomed and encouraged and cool is really great. That's you go Glastonbury. That is terrific. Um,
Yeah.
would you share some poems with us now?
Oh yes. I collected some that I wanted to share maybe. Where did I put them? Oh, okay, wait, you can choose. So I have a this is oh wait, I have a poem called On Wishing Death, and it's inspired by a conversation with my mother. Um, and it's just like a transcript kind of. That's how which I haven't really seen a lot of. I don't know if I've ever read a poem like that, but I like copying down conversations because that's where I get a lot of my inspiration. Like if I hear them or if I'm a part of it or something. So I started writing down the conversation. I realized like this is anyway. So okay, I'll read it. So just like because I have to give context because it might be confusing. We're going back and forth in conversation. So like hopefully it's not too confusing. All right. On wishing death. Do you think it makes someone evil? What does? Wishing it. Wishing what? Death on someone. That's extreme. Is it? Or just honest? What's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm curious. Why? Why everyone talks like there's a line? There is. Where? You're standing on it. I'm standing on yours. Then step back. I can't. Why not? Because then you get to pretend you were never here. Here where? Close enough to say it. That's not the same. No, but that's how it starts. Do you think wishing makes someone evil? I can't answer that. Why not? Because if I do, this stops being a question. That was it.
Wow. Wow. I was absolutely in the conversation with you both and wondering which was the mother, which was the daughter.
Oh, what do you think?
Oh. I don't know. I think as a mom, I could imagine myself asking that, and as a daughter, I wondered if I would have the courage to ask my mom that. But that whole notion of a line and being present, I don't know. Let's see. I think part of the power of the poem is that it could be either way, and I know you're a high school senior, and I am imagining that being a much older conversation. The sophistication there is really something. Okay, Jane, don't make me guess. Tell me which is which.
Oh, okay. I'm asking the question. She's the one who I'm like, kind of like challenging her, like about the line and stuff, because she won't admit, she won't say it. She's never said it before. And me and my father will say it sometimes. And I remember, I don't know if it was like a political figure, we'll just say that. And I remember like wishing, and she said, I would never say that. And I said, but I know that's what you want. You just anyway. And so that's how that I just thought it was interesting. And I guess like I authenticity, I think I'm an authentic person. Like I'm pretty honest. And I think people guard themselves too much and follow so many rules that aren't even real rules. And I just like kind of challenging the rules. Maybe that's why I'm pre-law. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was quite the experience, and I could hear the two voices, and I could hear the shift in your voice to hear that it goes back and forth. But it could also, without that context of two people, I could hear it in somebody's head. You know, am I asking myself the moral question? If I feel this way, have I crossed a line? And if I've asked the question, I've crossed the line. Oh dear, right? I mean, the whole thing, I think it can function in so many different ways, but it asks a really big question. And then in the times we live in, I don't think it's an unusual question. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, well, thank you for that one. All right, how about another one? What do you got?
Okay, let's see. Um, oh, this is a really short one. Does not have a title. I've also never seen this form before. Don't even know if you can call it a poem. I have it right here. It's gonna be a list of words, but just stick with me. I just came across this, so let's see. Okay. I don't even know how to begin this. All right. Longing, hoping, pining, craving, thirsting, yearning, pleading, needing, begging, burning, nothing. Okay, so hear me out. That it goes down like the I've been writing a lot of these, so they're like lists of synonyms, kind of, but they slightly like they'll be like groups of two or three where it kind of they like longing and hoping is like more like soft, but then you have like pining and craving, and then it like keeps going so that it like is like a roller coaster. And I'm defending it because I haven't even read that in like months, so. Oh, okay. Yeah. Never mind. Just
No, well, that's what we call a list poem, right? And I mean, but
wait, really? I didn't know that was a thing.
it's a thing. But your list is really a unique one, and I think because it takes you down that road of the nuances of those experiences, you know? And just talking with you and listening to you, I'm thinking, well, you know what? What exactly am I thinking? What exactly is this state I'm in? Is it a state of longing or yearning? What's the difference? So that sort of that inquiry that sequence invites is really cool.
Oh, thank you.
You genius.
Oh, thank
That's
you.
great.
Okay, I have one more I could share that
Okay.
it's okay, this is like it's like nothing too, it's a kind of just a regular poem. It's called The Only Time a Man is Given a Flower. The only time a man is given a flower, he lies where the lilies bow. The sun surrenders its golden power. It kneels beside him now. The air still hums with what he missed, the rain, the rush, the drear. He was smoke inside a folded fist, set free only to disappear. Now lilies lean the way they do, when bones have come to rest. The soil keeps what no one knew and calls it tenderness. The only time a man is given a flower, the earth recalls his grace. Petals fall like passing hours, blooming upon his face. That was it.
Yeah, that's, oh wow. Feels like men should get flowers more often, huh?
No, I don't know. I guess maybe it. Why did I? Oh, well, listen. So this was a I saw an Instagram post, and it was a photographer who did. It was just a picture, like from the perspective of someone in a grave, and then like a rose was being like tossed on them or something. And I just thought, um, how like we give like sympathy and we celebrate people after they've died, but while people are still alive, which that's like a common thing a lot of people talk about. But maybe not like I am having a ton of I'm not like oh my god, we need to give men more empathy. That's not, but I'm just
No,
like
no, no.
I
Well,
guess
it wasn't the person that we talked about in the first poem is not now lying in the grave, right? So
yeah, exactly.
no, no, no. I just the fact that, and not even men as a group, but just the idea that life is fleeting, and that sometimes those moments come too late. And I just the line you had about the soil holding the tenderness, just powerful stuff, and all from an Instagram post, really, Jane.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I swear to God. I think I still have maybe I still have the screenshot of it. But that's where, yeah, I just kind of get inspired by things that I see and I just write it down, or I'll take a screenshot of something and then go back to it later when I'm ready to like dig in.
Yeah, that's so your versatility of styles. You got the rhyme going, the list, the dialogue. Um, I just was. I mean, it's amazing. Do you have a poet's prayer? Would you mind sharing that one with us again?
Oh yeah. Oh, and I
That'd be
wanted
great.
to add, we were talking about the Connecticut Writing Project, that same poem after you guys like were recognized me for that one. I won the platinum award from UConn for that, and I got to read it at like at in the auditorium or whatever. It was pretty cool. It was the biggest crowd I've ever read in front of. So
Well, that's congratulations. That's great.
thank you. Okay, a poet's prayer. God, if I must come to heaven, let my syllables be sharpened. Let them cleave through iron will. Let them crack the stones you hardened. Down here, no word can set a bone or stitch a body back to one. A poet cannot anchor storms. We trace their shape from what they've torn. Still I write, stubborn vice, as if precision might revive what vanished once I named it true, as if a rhyme might count as two. And if I must ascend at last, let every letter be honed like glass. Let every line draw crimson blood, crawl through ruin, bless the mud. And if you can't, or won't, or shouldn't, then don't pretend a poet couldn't have forged mountains or mended men had I been armed with more than pen. But if you will, if heaven bends, let language breathe beyond the end. Let diction dare, let syntax ignite, before I'm hammered into star, silent in your night.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, I teach freshmen a lot, and we look at the Odyssey and the whole. You can't do everything you want to do with the Odyssey with freshmen, but you get
Yeah.
the whole notion of the epic, and that living beyond your life through your fame and through your words, and Homer's whole embracing of language to create that, and to create immortality through language. And your poem talks about that, and I just love the conversation with God. There, that if I must, is such a
Yeah.
great a great and bold attitude to take as the poet speaking for your art. I think that is just amazing.
I know I love the way everyone interprets it differently. On the judge for was the judge for this. Yeah. Yeah, she said that was I arguing with him or something? But I guess, wait, I don't want to say too much about how I guess I'm just asking, like I was like raised Christian and I'm confirmed, but I'm not personally very religious. And so I'm saying like, okay, well, if I have to die and I have to go up there, then at least let it be a world where my talents and my gifts are going to be just as powerful and valued as those like medicine or engineering or something that have like tangible impact. You know what I'm saying?
I do, and I think it's a sort of I don't know. My mother raised me Methodist, and so I was brought up in the Protestant tradition, and the whole idea of engaging God in a way that is somewhat argumentative because we
Yeah.
got this gift, but isn't blasphemous. I mean, it's so beautifully done. It's amazing. So this is
Yeah.
I can't wait to buy your first book of poems there, Jane. This is like,
Oh,
don't make us wait too long. So, can you talk a little bit about what did you learn about yourself through the poetry writing? As somebody who's been writing since you were a little kid, and poetry coming a little bit later into your experience as a writer, what did poetry open up for you or teach you about yourself?
I think it showed me the things that I like struggle with the most because when I write, I can, what is synthesize the right word? Kind of understand what's like going on up here when I can
Yeah.
format it and actually put it on the page and I can see it. And I've noticed when I was reading the question that I knew you were going to ask, I was thinking, a pattern I notice is that I'm always writing about kind of like life and death and meaning or morality, which is something that I think about a lot. Like it really like kind of like the meaning of life and and like I don't know I can get philosophical and it actually can like hurt me because I think about like what does anything matter, but one thing that makes me feel like what I'm doing matters is when I can write and when I can share that and when I can like when I always tell people when they're suffering with something like when they're grieving or something like that like do something with it, like don't like not just to help yourself, but you can help other people. Like you can bring new perspectives because nobody else is living Sandy as you. Like there will never be another Sandy Carlson. Like there might be someone with the same name, but everything that's going on up here, you can like put it down and oh my God, it's just so like exciting to me. It makes me feel like everything I go through and everything I think about has a purpose. And that's what I notice the themes in my poetry is that I get those thoughts out and they make me feel better. And I'm glad that like people like enjoyed my thoughts, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to just say one more thing about your poetry is, like you said, that people interpret it or pick up on different things, or different things will resonate, and that's part of the power of what you're talking about. Is you come back to it and something else strikes a chord, or the image opens up in a different way because your reader has come back from a different experience. So it's always in conversation with the open-minded reader, right? That the poem can continuously speak to you, And I think you were on our podcast last month, and you read that poem, and I just wrote down the line about our poems take the shape from what's been torn apart or torn away.
Oh yeah, a poet can't anchor storms, they trace their shape from what they've torn.
Yes, yes, yes. That imagery is just so powerful, and for me on a literal level, as well as on a metaphorical level, so that's how the magic of it works. So it's really tremendous that you encourage other people to embrace that linguistic magic, because that's what it is, and that's what language is really all about, right? The great
Yeah.
poets knew that, and you're right in there with them,
Thank you.
and it's great. And you know what? And I think it kind of takes us to the whole tragedy of AI, doesn't it?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were
Do
gonna
you
say.
want did you want to say something about, I mean, you brought it up before. I just wanted to see if you wanted to.
I just think it's so like I get that AI, like I use AI for things, but never have I ever used it for my writing because I just think it's so sad. I just think it's sad. It's disappointing that this tool is here. So of course all these kids who don't, care, they just want to use it. They just want to get the work over with. And I think that when it comes to school and kids using AI to do creative writing, especially because school has become about grades and not about learning and discovery, and like community and stuff. And I just think that people like separately from AI, like a lot of kids and people my age just see like even English classes as just like any other class, like math or science. But to me, that's been the most important class because you learn so much. You It's like no English class is the same. Like you're gonna go into a class and each teacher can teach the same curriculum and give the same writing prompts, but every kid is going to share their story a little differently and interpret things a little differently. And I think that's just the most beautiful thing. And when you bring AI into the equation, it's just the same. Like AI can write different stuff, but it even if AI not like writing like the goodness of a what the I don't know, the level of writing is that's subjective, but like you can look at like a poem that AI wrote and a poem that like one of your freshmen wrote themselves, and maybe you'd be like, well, the AI one sounds better or something, but maybe it's more polished and maybe it's formatted a little more uniquely. But there's at there when teachers and people say that there's a soul to human writing, there is, and you can just feel it because it's imperfect, but that's what makes it perfect. And it has like life to it. And human, nobody's perfect, and nobody's writing is perfect, and perfect doesn't even exist. So to me, anything that's written by AI it's just nothing. Like it doesn't count for anything. It doesn't bring anything to the table, but humans do.
Oh, absolutely. And it's like, as these things have evolved, I remember, 15 years ago, you could go online, and when online wasn't all that old, and go to a sonnet generator, and put in some ideas, and you would get this nonsensical, sonnet with the rhyme scheme and the structure, but no substance. And actually, the Washington Post just had a story in there. I'm going to give them the credit, but anyway, it was a story about how um, uh, a woman was doing research on AI and college essays, and that they were finding that AI generated essays had the rich vocabulary and the shiny syntax, but no substance. So, if you could get bamboozled past the first 20 words, if that was enough for you, um, that would work. And it's like, it's one of the old chestnuts about AP writing, when you write an AP essay, to make sure the first and second and last paragraphs are good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
you know, I mean, the whole idea of gamifying this stuff, it's there, but as a teacher, you're looking at these kids and you're thinking, you have a rich life. You look at all these children, and the lives of some of them, and you just, they're coming from places where they've lived something, and it's real and it's authentic, and it's what shapes how they respond to whatever you're doing. And that's what counts, not the right answer. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
what that is. Today I read an essay and a student referred to Macbeth losing all his buddies. And that was awesome because he did.
Yeah, that's funny. I like that.
I'll
Losing
take
all his
buddies any day of the week. So I hear what you're saying, but I also think sometimes people are afraid.
Yeah.
And if the AI generator can give me the poem that meets the requirements of the assignment, I'm safe. I don't have to reveal who I am. So if we're talking to people who maybe are looking at the computer when they should be writing their poem and thinking about writing, what would your advice be to get them to do the courageous thing and get the pen to the page?
That like people forget. I know there are, which I don't like when teachers put a lot of requirements on writing assignments. I mean, I get it if it's like an essay or something, but not even a college essay, like an analytical essay or yeah.
Right.
But what with creative writing, there is no wrong answer. There's just no answer at all. Because I was in the shower before this and I was thinking, that there's no wrong key. Like every key is different. And just because this particular key does not unlock your door, that key is perfect for to unlock someone else's door sitting right next to you. And to me, that's for like any piece of writing that like there no writing is bad, no matter how simple it is. It doesn't matter what vocabulary you use and how much you write. Whatever, if you write it from your heart, that it's true and it means something, and there's at least one person out there who's going to enjoy it and think about it. And I just wish that people like in math there's a wrong answer, and in science there's a wrong answer, and in so many ways in life there's just everything's black and white, but with writing there isn't, and that's just the best thing about it. And I think if people, and like especially a lot of like school kids, realize that, then I don't think they would use AI, and I think people would really enjoy writing and do it in their free time if they knew that it doesn't have to be measured like it is in school all the time. And I also would tell to the teachers out there that if teachers don't want kids to be using AI, I think they should make it a more like, there should not be so many like grades to it. Like it's a grade, I don't know, but people just, pick something up and start writing, and whatever you write, even if it's 2 words, it means something because it came from up here. And that means that it has substance, anything.
Yeah. Absolutely, Jane. I think those are the most magical last words I've heard in a long time, and I'm really grateful to you for taking the time to talk to me today and to our listeners. And I'm going to make sure this podcast goes far and wide, because I think what you say is so important for all of us, whether we're teachers, editors, students, just plain old human beings trying to figure stuff out and using our words. So thank you so much, and I wish you every success, and I will be on the lookout for your book.
Oh my God, yeah, you'll be the first one I'll send it to for free.
Well, thank you so much, Jane.
This has been People and Their Poems, presented by Oronog Mountain Publishing. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to check the show notes for more information about this episode. Visit oronogmountainpublishing.com for more information about our services and writing opportunities. And visit peopleandtheirpoems.net to learn more about the podcast.